Welcome to the latest edition of Millennial Boom with Diane Faith and Stanley Roberts, where almost no subject is off limits. Now, here are your hosts, Boomer Diane Faith and Millennial at heart, Stanley Roberts.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
do it.
Hi, guys. Happy Sunday.
No, you had all those energy before?
Hi, guys. Happy Sunday.
Wow.
I thought I was talking, and then, I was talking, but I thought they could hear me, and then they couldn't.
No, because I didn't turn your mic on yet.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
you jumped
Can
in.
you guys hear me now?
Yeah, they can hear you.
Happy Sunday. Happy March 26th. You guys, it's the end of March again. It's the end of another month.
Please don't say I can't believe it's the end of the month.
How is this happening, you guys? Next thing you know, we're going to be midway through the year again. I can't. Time is going by too fast.
Time is going by at the exact amount of time it takes to go by. There's no deviation. It doesn't go any faster. It doesn't go any slower. It's going at the exact same speed every single day.
What happened to the little chat thing on the side?
Oh, I took it off of mine.
Oh.
I can put it
I
back.
think you took it off. When you took it off of yours, I wonder if it takes it off for everyone, because then I can't see it now.
I can put it back.
What's up, Chris? What's going on? Oh, good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Hello, Amanda. Hello, Maverick.
Hi, Gabriel.
Chris Maverick.
Yeah, because I can't see anybody from Facebook.
All right, fine on.
I just like to see the chat so I can interact.
All right, I gotta remember how I took it off.
Okay, well, and it's too difficult, let's not.
No, I'll figure it out. That's
So
what I
you were
do.
doing a little test earlier today too, right?
Yes, so there you go. There's your chat.
Okay.
You happy now?
I am.
And the after shows with the Millennial Boom part.
Yeah,
Cool.
just in case you guys forgot who you were watching. Millennial Boom.
The Haunted House.
Well, yeah. If you guys weren't here last week, we had a little bit of a situation where some people thought for some reason we made the lights flash. Like, so our ring light got a lot brighter and it shocked both of us. Mind you, we're the only two in the house. Nobody else is here, especially during the podcast. No one is operating the light. And so some people thought we made that up. But like, oh my gosh, the light brightened up out of nowhere. Which it did. We did not make that up. And why would we do that anyways?
Everything's fake nowadays. You know that?
I guess everyone's a little skeptical of something, right?
Everything's fake. Everything's fake. Anyway,
Oh, what's up, Kelly? Welcome. Chris says a friend of his is joining for the first time on YouTube, so give a shout out to
you know what's
Kelly.
funny? My chat's not working.
No, it's not. Mine isn't either. I just ended up looking here on Twitch.
Interesting. So yeah, my chat's. Oh, there we go. I've seen ghosts.
I've seen ghosts. Okay, story guy. Tell us a little story then about your seeing a ghost.
Well, I could tell you this, that this is, we think that we know the source of the poltergeist.
Yeah, possibly.
Possibly.
Yeah.
We think we know, and we think it's my mother.
We've had situations, not in this place, but also in our previous house.
2 places.
Yeah. Oh no, well for you, 3.
Yeah, 3 places.
Yeah, 3 places. Yeah, so there's been something that's happened every single place that he's lived for as long as.
And no, Gabriel, the light is not controlled by a remote, so there's a chance that the neighbor has a remote. No, it's not controlled by a remote. It's controlled only by a little dial up in the back. There's no remote to it whatsoever.
Yeah.
It never came with a remote. It's the guy from Hong Kong. It's Chris from Hong Kong.
Chris, are you saying that you're taking charge of our ring light? What was that?
I was looking on the phone.
Oh. What's up, Kelly? Kelly saying hello to us on YouTube.
Hello, Kelly. Welcome to our bizarre and wonderful world of what the hell is going to happen today.
So, to answer your question, Gabriel, no, the light is not controlled by remote.
We are naturally inclined to look for a logical explanation for some illogical situation. Now, logically speaking, it could have just been a glitch.
In the Matrix?
No, in the light system.
In the light system.
But it was weird because it just turned up and didn't turn itself back down.
Right, like, so it wasn't really it didn't flicker, it just stayed that way.
Right.
But so people were thinking we did it to seek attention. Sorry, we just don't think like that. If we wanted attention, we'd probably be doing something else. So.
Yeah, if we really want attention, we'd have Diane sit here in a bathing suit.
And that's not happening, so.
So, well, I mean, that would be attention.
That's not happening.
And then you could be singing Whistling Dixie while you sit in a bathing suit. Now that would be an attention grabber.
No, I don't even know what you're talking about.
All right, well, I tried.
So William says he thinks we should use a desk mic to sound closer. Yeah, so we've been there.
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
So we're using a software called Restream.
Mm-hmm.
And Restream did an upgrade. And whatever they did in the upgrade, it compromised the audio ports for the laptop. Reason why we know this is because I've tried testing it directly into the computer. I took the mic and the wires down to Guitar Center. They tested everything. They all worked fine. So then I tested again, static, unusable, horrible. But then I tried it to go directly through YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Worked fine. So we established that it's narrowed back down to the software. So I'm going to reach out to them and say, hey, look, your software needs to be tweaked. There's a problem with the microphones. It's messing the ports up. So help us out here so we can get this going. So that makes sense. So yeah, we thought we're far away because we are far away. But everything being equal, we are here.
Yes, we are here. So if there's any issues with the audio, which fingers crossed, hopefully there won't be.
So it's funny that Gabriel goes to Guitar Center. Maybe take it to a piano technician next time. Well, Gabriel, have you ever been to a Guitar Center store? They work on audios, mixers, guitars, drums, speakers, microphones, podcast equipment. So they're not just guitars. It's like Kmart didn't just sell K's.
Oh wow, a mart for K's.
And take it. And Target doesn't just sell bullseyes.
And Walmart doesn't just sell walls. And Safeway doesn't just sell safes. And
okay, we got the message. We got
Lucky's doesn't just sell luck. And okay, just kidding. Okay, wait. So I want to go back because Story Guy is telling his story. So he said, I worked at an old hospital. I was closing the ward for the night, which was used for recreation during the day. During World War II, it was a surgical ward for POWs. Oh my gosh, I know what POWs is. I'm just putting myself on blast right now. POWs. Please tell me what POWs is. I know it. I'm drawing a blank.
Person of Walmart.
No, it's not. Okay, I made myself look stupid on here. I should have just kept reading.
Prisoners of War.
Prisoners of War. Yes, thank you. I don't know why I drew a blank, but I wanted to make sure I spelled that out, or I said it out. Okay. I should not tell stories. Okay, so he says, I saw a man in German uniform with a bandaged head, and he walked through a wall. And Story Guy says, I got out of there quickly. Wait, hold the phone. The guy walked through a wall? Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. Well, Story Guy, I don't blame you for getting out there quickly. Gabriel says prisoners, not persons. We did say prisoners, didn't we? Prisoners of war.
Prisoners of war, yes.
Yeah.
He heard persons of...
Oh, it's probably because I said it fast. Prisoners of war. No, I said prisoners. Did you say prisoners?
Prisoners of war, POWs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Of course, Gabe's going to tell me I said something different.
And people who aren't named Ralph work at Ralph's.
Yeah. What was that one place I was talking about the other day? Oh, wait a minute. You said to me today, and I was like, you said something, and I said back to you, and you said something about your eye.
Oh, yeah. Because my
eye was bothering you.
So my eye has been bothering me last night, and so my eye is slightly pink. And I didn't realize when I woke up that it was still slightly pink until someone at church pointed it out to me. And then what happened? Earlier I asked him if my eye was still pink.
And I said, no, about ibuprofen. You said...
Oh, yeah. What'd you say? I said, what did I say? And then you said that?
My eye's not bothering me. I said...
Oh, yeah, my eye's not bothering me. You said...
Neither is my ibuprofen.
Yeah, that was a bad joke. Bad joke. Oh, the comment was courtesy of the 8-second delay. William says we can switch to OBS. What is that?
Yeah, it's another platform, but we've already paid $500 for this one, $490 to be exact. So they need to fix it.
Person of Walmart. I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you for that. Anyways, that was story guide. That was a story. Thanks for sharing. Very scary.
Well, let me go backwards in my history of my family. My family has consistently lived in a haunted house my entire life. So when I was a kid, and you can Google the house, 713 Chestnut Street. So 7 being a lucky number and 13 being an unlucky number.
Yeah.
713 Chestnut in Camden, New Jersey. I was there at the age of 6 or 7 from Philadelphia. Now, it was 2 houses made into one. If you look it up on the internet and you see the house, you'll see where the other steps, where the house, the door used to be that was sealed.
Mm-hmm.
They knocked all the walls down, and you can go back and forth between the 2 houses, and it was like one house.
So you guys had like one big house.
We had one big house on the block. Yeah. So we brought both houses and made them into one.
Nice.
Back then, houses were like $20,000.
Mm-hmm.
So you just give them $40,000, you got 2 brand new houses. Anyway, so when they built the house, now these houses were built back in the colonial times. So they're, brick homes from way back in the day, the kind that don't stand up good for earthquakes. And we lived out. Now I was a kid, so I don't know any better. But people would come to our house and then leave and say they're never coming back again, because they said that they would be sitting in the other side of the house, looking across and see on the side of their eye a little old lady peeking around the corner with white hair.
Oh gosh, that's scary.
Now you would think, okay, one person, okay, maybe. But this was consistent, that people were coming back into our house and saying that they saw the little old white lady with white hair who would always come down the stairs on the side of the house that was the side of the house where the door was.
Mm-hmm.
So the 2 doors were side by side.
Okay.
And the one was sealed up, so there was a wall there. But when you come in, you can go into 2. We had 2 living rooms
mm-hmm.
and a fake fireplace. So they would see her peek around the corner on the corner eye, but when they look over, she would be gone. And this happened over and over
and like
and
multiple
over again,
people told you this.
that they were no longer going to come to our house because.
Did you ever see her?
I never saw her. I was a kid. I never saw her. Never looked for her. Wasn't even scared.
Mm-hmm. Did anybody that lived in your house ever see her, or was it just
so this is where it gets interesting. So my mom she decided to see. She looked up on how you can Britannica. We didn't have internet. It was way back.
Britannica Encyclopedia.
And it said, if you want to find out why you have a ghost in your house,
yeah.
you write a letter, you put it on a piece of paper, you put it underneath your bed, and you put the letter on top of the thing, and you go to sleep. So she tried it, and she claims in her dreams, the little lady came to her and said she's waiting for her husband to come home, and she's not going to leave until.
They used to live there?
Yeah. And so he never came home, and she's been waiting for him to show up.
Oh.
So she's been there looking and looking and looking in her dream. This is what she told us.
Yeah.
So the way it turned out was that I guess once she did that. Now here's where it got really interesting and strange. Once she did that, it opened up a door of some sort, because it went from this little lady peeking around the corner to windows, mirrors being shattered for no reason.
Oh no!
Like you go in the bedroom and the window was shattered, the mirror. And we couldn't figure out why.
You thought maybe it was the lady.
So, I don't know if it was the lady, but I think she opened up a door. See, when you mess around with stuff like because my mom even tried the Ouija board stuff.
Oh, yeah. Like you're opening up, so it might not have been the lady. Your mom might have opened up a door
portal
for other ghosts.
To other entities to enter into the same realm.
Ooh, that is scary.
And so all of a sudden things became cantankerous around the house. Things would just break. Doors would just close and slam.
And how long did you guys live there for?
Well, I was there for about, until about 11 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
But we knew about it because people would keep constantly coming and say they're not coming back again. And then at one point, my mom became a Jehovah's Witness, and everything kind of ceased. So that's where that whole thing came from, where she started practicing the Jehovah's Witness religion, and it kind of ceased from that because they told her that those kind of things, like summoning demons, creates bigger problems. And we can clearly attest that was a fact.
Yeah.
Something happened.
Well, that's the thing. That's the weird part too. Is so when your mom communicated with the ghost, did she in actuality think that this was a demon though?
Well, we didn't.
Like,
Of
because you're
course.
thinking that if it's just when I think of
It was a little
ghosts,
late, that's all we knew.
right, but when I think of ghosts, I'm not necessarily thinking, oh, that's a demon. So, like, when you're saying, like, you're opening up something for, like, demons, I'm not necessarily thinking if I'm
Hold
communicating
on.
with a ghost.
Story guy, you on to bed already? It's only 7 o'clock here.
Time for sleep. He says 3:23 in the UK.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Well, story guy, have a great night. Thank you for joining us. And to stop, I hope you don't see anybody walking through a wall again. That is like.
Well, thank you for joining us. We do
freaky.
appreciate it, story guy.
Yes.
And maybe we'll log on one day where it's a different time frame for you, so we can chat with all the UK people that log in that have to be going to bed right now.
I know, and it's funny because he's going to bed, and then Chris is
just
waking up. I think. Because it's morning
Just
there.
waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. I don't know, because my days seem kind of odd.
Chris says haunted houses in many parts of Asia are cheaper to buy, sometimes up to 30%, but no one wants a ghost as a roommate. Okay, well, that makes sense.
So
why would you? I totally get that.
So fast forward to 2009 or 2010. In 2009, in December, my mom passed away. She had a stroke. Ironically, she had a stroke while I was on the phone talking to her. Didn't know what it was. Talking to her on the phone, and all of a sudden she just started mumbling and gibberish. She was in a nursing home because she had triple bypass, and she was having some complications. So they put her in a nursing home, which I didn't realize that the nursing home was prerequisite for a death. I figured it was. They called it a rehabilitation center.
You thought that was like her road
They were
to
there to help her.
recovery.
Yeah. And I didn't know that was a different direction because I've never dealt with this before. So I'm on the phone with her, and then she starts mumbling incoherently, and I laughed because I thought it was funny. I'm like, Mom, I'll be there in 2 weeks. I'll check on you, not knowing that was her having a stroke at that moment. Yeah. And the thing that got me the most was that she had the stroke, and the people at the nursing center never tended to her because my niece, my cousin, who lives in Sicklerville, went to visit her, and she was laying in a bed in urine. So they just left her there, not realizing she had a stroke and just didn't tend to her.
So it took for your cousin to go visit for them to realize.
And she called me and says, "Hey, there's something wrong with Aunt Pat." That's what she called her.
Yeah.
And Tracy. I'm talking about Tracy, my cousin Tracy.
Yeah.
And she's laying in the bed and she's soaked in urine and they're not doing anything about it. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to be on the next plane out there right now. So I literally changed my flight with Southwest to get out there. Because by then they had transferred her to across the street to Cooper Medical Center. Mm-hmm. And I knew that she was in the hospital, and I was going to fly out the next morning. Southwest was very grateful. They changed my flight without any extra fees. And it was in the morning that I got up to get dressed to get on the plane, 6-hour flight. And I called the hospital to check on her. I said, I'm going to call to make sure she's okay. I call up, and they answer the phone. I said, can I have ICU? Because that's where she was stored. That's where she was stored at.
That's where she was staying.
Staying, right.
Mm-hmm.
So when I called them, they clicked me in the ICU, and I said, hi, this is Stanley Roberts. I'm trying to talk to my mom, Patricia. How is she? I just want to get her update. Oh, it was a long pause. And they came back on the phone, and they said, oh, yeah, she checked out.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And I said, wait. And I'm having a moment of, okay, so she's better.
Yeah.
She checked out.
Yeah.
She checked out. That's good. I said, wait. She checked out? I said, she had a stroke. Unless it wasn't really a stroke, could you verify that she checked out? She says, oh, I'll double check for you. And they go back and the lady goes, oh, can I transfer to another nurse? I transfer to another nurse and I go, hey, they said my mom checked out. Where did they send her to? She goes, oh, I'm sorry, your mom passed away. Oh. And I'm like at the airport, I'm at SFO, and I'm like, wait, what? Because my sister, Cheryl, was on her way from Georgia. Mm-hmm. And so I had to call her and tell her that mom passed away over the phone. She didn't believe me. So she's like, no, it's no way. I said, well, that's what they told me on the phone. So I call up Jerome, who worked at a mortuary, and I asked him, will he call and check on my mom? Turns out that they said that not only did she pass away, but they put her in the morgue. And I was furious because I'm like, my mom is not, you don't put my mom in a morgue like a common, person you just found off the street.
Yeah.
And so I had him take her body and move her to a funeral home while I'm on the plane. So
So you're like on the plane, like traveling there, and this is all you could think about.
All I could think of before I got on the plane, because back then you couldn't make phone calls. was to get him the gears in motion to move her body right away. And I was still in shock. So you're sitting on a plane knowing your mom died when you didn't know what had took place. And when I got to the nursery, the place, and tried to question them, they all shut down. It was like, oh, we don't know what happened. She just passed away. So there was no information that was given to me whatsoever. So then I was there trying to figure out how to set up my mom's funeral, even though I wasn't coming there for that reason. So now fast forward to 2000. I mean, fast forward to when she passed away. We had her funeral, and I had her cremated.
Mm-hmm.
And my Jerome, my cousin, he passed away too. He was found dead in his house one day, but he gave me an urn, which I have over here behind us.
Yeah.
And in the urn, where I put my mom's ashes, and I took her back to California with me, along with all her little trinkets that she loved, like her watches. She loved little cheap watches and what have you. So I took them all home. But then I noticed a pattern of things going wrong and things happening in the house. Little weird things like doors slamming, doors being left open. One day I went out, took Brooke to the store, came back, my front door was wide open. Couldn't figure out why it was wide open. Just random things. And then I started to realize that maybe there's a connection. So I took all her little trinkets, put them all together, opened up the urn, and put them inside there with her ashes. And it got quiet for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It was good and quiet. Nothing happened. And I realized that she just wanted her little toys. So I gave them to her. Then we moved to Phoenix, and that's when you moved. And then it started all over again.
Was it because I was there?
I don't know. She would unscrew things like the trophies on our shelf behind me would literally be unscrewed.
Yeah.
It's like someone just went in and unscrewed everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I say unscrewed, I mean literally like falling apart unscrewed. The beds, the bolts on the beds were unscrewed, so I tightened it up. And then a few days later, it would be unloose again.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day, we went to the store, you and I, and we got locked out of our own house.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this was interesting because we got locked out of our own house from a lock that was locked from the inside.
It was the top double lock. So you can only lock the double lock
from the inside. You can't lock it from the outside.
But that lock we had left and only locked the bottom lock because obviously, like you said, we can't lock the top lock from outside. When we come home, the top lock is locked.
On the inside.
And we're like,
and now,
but we can't get into the house.
And I'm thinking, oh my God, there's somebody broke into our house because we can't get into it. And how would the door lock itself automatically? And so we called Phoenix PD and said, we think there's someone in our house because it's locked from the inside. And when they showed up, I said, they're inside, but just be aware there's a gun in the house. We don't know who's in there, but there's a gun in our house that they may or may not have access to. Mm-hmm. So then it became not only a 911 call, it became a SWAT call out. Because now they're assuming that someone broke in our house and is in there, and they may be armed at this moment. So they literally had SWAT snipers on roofs trying to look in the window to see if they can see any movement. And they literally kept asking us, do you have anybody that you are in like a domestic dispute with that may be inside the house that locked the door? And we're like, no.
Yeah, well.
We didn't lock the door. No, nobody's in there. There's nobody to be in our house.
We're like, we don't even know anybody out here.
We don't know anybody.
I mean, we know people, but it's not like we knew them enough to like have them stay at the house and lock us out.
So the SWAT team showed up.
Yeah.
It was like 20 cars outside.
I was like,
long
what
guns.
is happening?
They made us stay inside of another person's apartment. The neighbors let us stay in there. And then they brought the battering ram. And then they just, boom, the door opened. Yeah. They had to break the door open and went through the whole house.
And no one was
in the
inside.
House. No one was in there.
We're like, what's happening?
What is going on here?
Yeah.
So
we still until this day don't actually know how it happened. We thought maybe the lock malfunctioned. We were thinking maybe
But they couldn't find anything wrong with the lock.
Yeah.
So it was the strangest thing in the world where things were changing and doing things on their own without us being involved in it.
Yeah, our bed also, like our bed would unscrew in the Phoenix place. Our bed would unscrew, and so like we'd come back and like you'd sit on the bed and we're like, why is it so like why is it squeaking? It's so loud. Then he noticed, oh wait, the bolts are loosening. We have to tighten them, and he would have to tighten them like over and over again. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like,
so now here. You have the light flicker.
Here we have the light flicker. There was an instance where he thought that the light was on in the living room and came out and the light wasn't on. And then he also said that the light in the kitchen was on. And
But
I was asleep.
But I heard the light switch turn on.
And I was asleep.
And I was like, no, it can't be. You know how you hear somebody turn a light switch? I heard the light switch come on. But I'm thinking, no, there's nobody in the house. There's no way the light switch turned on. But then I get up at 3 in the morning and the light is on in the kitchen. Like somebody turned the switch on.
And I'm usually the one that goes through the house. I close all the like doors, like, because we try to keep our heat, like, make sure that like everything is warmed up in their spaces. So I close all of the doors to the rooms. I make sure all the lights are off, and I'm usually the one that goes through, and then we go to sleep. And so I always know if the light's gonna be on or not. If I left the light on or not, I wouldn't.
And then there's one night where we were both asleep. And I felt someone walking across the foot of the bed.
I did not feel that.
I literally felt the footsteps as they walked across the foot of the bed. And I'm like...
I didn't feel that, so...
I'm like, at that moment you don't want to look because you don't know what you're going to see. But I knew something. But now I'm starting to believe that it may be my mom, Miss Pat.
Maybe. I mean,
now, she's
and
a
if
prankster.
it is, I'm... you know what, honestly, if it is your mom, I personally am not afraid. Like, I feel like your mom's very loving and caring. Like, she wouldn't do anything to hurt us. So I'm not afraid. If she wants to share space, I'm okay with that. But if it's like really like an intruder...
But I will admit one more thing that we have here that I'm still concerned about. So we keep the house at a comfortable 68 degrees.
Yeah.
70, sometimes 72. But there are some moments when we're in the house where it just gets so cold.
Yep. And it's still 68 degrees.
And it gets so cold that you need to put a blanket on, but the temperature in the house never changes. Yeah. The thermometer still says the same temperature, but it's bone-chilling cold, and we can't figure out the source of the cold air. It just comes, and then it goes away.
Chris says it's me, guys. I admit it. I'm omnipotent.
So that's our ghost story for the day.
Oh my God.
So is our house... I don't like to use the word haunted.
I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know. But, I mean, if anything, I'd rather it be your mom than some unknown.
Well, it's funny, though.
Because we don't necessarily know 100% the history of, like, this place and who lived here before. We know a little bit about who they were and, like, how this house wasn't necessarily, like, their primary house. It was more of, like, they would come here, like, when they were vacationing because the original owners lived in Japan. So we don't really know anything really, we don't know too much about the previous owner.
I will say this, though. Is that once we talked about it that we think it was our mom, a lot of stuff stops.
Yeah.
So the last couple of days it's been pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Nothing has been weirdly happening once we identified her and maybe she knew. But now, let me go backwards. Way back to 2009, and this is interesting because this is one of the things that really caught my attention. After I went through the whole process of getting her cremated, getting her ashes, getting the funeral over with, I went back to the hotel that I was using as base camp to set up for her whole funeral thing. And everything that she had, because she had two funerals. She had one at the funeral home and one at the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses. And they don't do the bodies at the Kingdom Hall. They just do a picture. So I had a big picture blown above her. And I went back to the hotel by myself and was in the bedroom trying to get undressed from all the church, from all the stuff you're wearing from going to cover it. And I heard up in the corner my mom say my name as she was drifting away, like, Stanley. And that sound was bone chilling, I guess. Mm-hmm. It was a weird sound of hearing her, and it could have been just my imagination running wild. I'm not a big entity person, but I literally heard my mom say my name before she faded into the. And in my mind, I was saying, well, now she went somewhere she's supposed to be. But I think she's still hanging out. And
maybe she's watching over you.
Yeah, I know. And she thinks it's funny that she pulls little practical jokes. But she doesn't realize that it scares people. Because we got friends who called us up saying, I'm never coming to your house. I'm never coming to your house.
You guys, don't be scared. Come over.
We're not scared.
No, we're not scared. We just think it's interesting, and we obviously want to know, like, what is happening.
We're like those people in the movies. Get out. Oh, that was interesting, honey. You think we should leave?
We're not that bad, though.
Yeah.
We're not that bad. We would take something seriously. I mean, we do take it seriously, but we would take it hard, seriously if we didn't think it was, something that was familiar.
Yeah.
But if I were
Harold wrote, this episode is awesome, very interesting and informative. So now that we switched gears about the haunted house of podcasts,
Haunted House of Fun.
let's switch gears to the.
Philip says he needs to come to our house.
Okay, we'll work on it. We'll switch gears to our shopping at a antique store.
Okay, yeah. So yesterday we were just out and about running some errands, and Stanley wants to check out this store.
Well,
Happened to be
but
closed.
why do I? Okay, the store I want to go was closed.
Yeah, the store he wanted to go to was closed, but the antique store was right next door.
Now I'm talking about my obsession with antique
Okay,
stores.
so he loves antique stores. He loves finding historical things so he was looking for yesterday. You were looking for the green book.
I've been looking for the Green
He's
Book
been looking for the
forever.
Green Book.
Now, those who aren't aware what the Green Book is, it was a book that was given to African Americans that told them where it was safe for them to go and travel and not get lynched in like places that they can go eat at.
Yeah.
But-
Oh, there was a movie. There was also a
movie called The Green Book.
It's called The Green
So
Book.
there's an actual
too.
book out, but it's very, very rare. Some people, like for instance, right back here, right there is
The Mammy.
a mammy jar that is.
Yeah.
We found it in Gilbert.
At an antique store. Yeah, Gilbert, Arizona.
And the lady was like, "Oh yeah, it's been up on the top shelf. It's not that valuable. It's just been up there." And I looked at her and I looked at Diane. I go, "She doesn't have an idea that is a actual very rare antique mammy jar that can be sold for up to $1,000. And it's the real one. It has real gold trim. It's actual china, and we got it for her for $300. We wrapped it up. We brought it home. We've been very taking care of it. It's about $1,000 worth of cookie jar from like Mammy back in.
Yeah, we don't actually, and we also actually don't put cookies in it.
We don't put cookies in it. It's been sealed in there forever. So I like to hit up antique stores because I like to find. So I'm looking for that book. I'm looking for anything that is historic value for when blacks are coming up in the 30s, 40s, 50s. That some people don't know the value of it. I have some other stuff that I put away that are in boxes that I've never taken out because I don't want them to be damaged by being out in the sun. So I'm a collector of items that are either valuable or in my mind valuable, depending on how you look at it.
Well, it's just like you know what you're looking for and have like a certain kind of taste.
Yeah.
So we went inside this antique store, and the lady welcomes us and says, "Have you ever been here before?" And we said no, and she's like, "Oh," and she kind of fills us in on like what we should be looking for when we look at items and like pricing and stuff. So we're just walking. This place is kind of big, but like it's packed with a lot of stuff. So you have like a walkway in, and then you kind of go around, and then there's stuff like on the sides. It's like jam packed. And there's this guy that walks that's also there like when we come in, that when the lady's talking, he proceeds to like go like farther away, but like farther away towards like the back of the place. And
He kind of looked like a giant Uncle Fester.
oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I was thinking he had like this plaid, he was like wearing a plaid shirt too, right?
But he had this shaved head and he's like a giant Uncle Fester.
Yeah.
And first thing
It
he
was
did
like
was
this.
he walked straight to the back when he first walked in. I'm like, okay, well, But he was in the back so that way when we walked to the back, he could be there already in place.
That's what it looked like.
And then
yeah.
as we got to the back, then he would follow us along the trail looking at us. And
Yeah.
at some point we split up.
And mind you, there were other people inside of the antique store too. There were plenty of other people like looking around and looking in these little, like I said, the place was packed. So there were like these little aisles where you would just see people standing there like looking through things, literally looking through like cabinets, like little trinkets and stuff. So like there were way more people in there than just the two of us.
So what really caught my attention was I turned the corner looking at this little area that had stuff, and he lost eyesight of me because he was looking at you.
Yeah.
When he realized he lost eyesight of me, he literally ran down the aisle to see what I was doing. But then what happened was when he got to where I was, I had just turned to come out, and then it looked awkward as he stopped to go back the other way.
Yeah. And then also when he wasn't looking at him, he was like, so I'm walking, I just made a full like kind of like circle or like U. I went in and went this inside and I was going the other way to like look through the other things. And what's kind of awkward is that like through the middle, there are all these glass cases. So if you're walking this way, you can still see the people walking this way through the glass cases. And so I would start looking at stuff in the glass cases and I would notice he would be looking at me through the glass case. And I'm like, what is this? Like, why does this guy keep looking at me? Like, wherever I went, like, I would go into another section, then I would come out and turn back around, and he was, like, standing there, and I'm like, does this, in my head, I'm thinking, because there are moments where, honestly, I do get followed at stores, and I will say, obviously, I hate it, but I was like, is this guy, I'm thinking, is this guy following me? Like, and immediately, I'm like, I still look around, and I'm just, like, in my head, instantly thinking, you know what, like, I wouldn't buy anything from this store. Because if you have the audacity to think that, like, you need to follow me around because you think I'm going to take something from your store, I will not be spending a dime of my money.
I almost wanted to say to him, you know I could buy everything in the store. And I could buy the whole store if I wanted to. But I say, you know what, I'm not going to engage him, but I know what he's doing.
Yeah, I know it too.
I'm not going to spend a dime in your store if that's how you're going to behave.
I think it's happened to us so often that we can basically observe when someone has an eye on us, like while we're in a store, and that's when I never buy anything from that store. If you follow me, then you've lost a potential customer.
And no, Gabriel, he wasn't a fan. He didn't know who I was. He didn't care who I was.
No.
He just thought I was there to steal something.
Well, and you know, the interesting part about that is when we're together and I see someone following us, I think to myself, okay, maybe that this person is trying to figure out, like, if it's him. But he never said anything to us. Even as we were walking out the door, he made his way to the front and watched us as we were looking at stuff around before we left. And he didn't say one thing. Now, if you're a fan, I would think you would at least say, hey, like, don't want to bother you, but are you Stanley Roberts? Or I'm not sure, are you someone, blah, 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 right? You would say something, I would hope. He didn't say anything. So we walked out the door, and that's, me and him didn't have this discussion until after we left. And we were like, man, that felt kind of weird. And he was like, yeah, I think that guy was following me. And I was like, I think that guy was following me too.
So maybe he thought you were a fan. Maybe he was a fan of you. Maybe he was a fan of Millennial Boom.
No, I highly doubt that. But I felt like uncomfortable, so I was like, I am not buying anything from this.
The funny part about that whole thing, though, is that everybody thinks that everybody wants me to give the name of the store, and I know you guys. You guys will call the store and give them grief, and I don't want. That's not. I'm just not gonna give my money. It's enough for me not to give them my money.
I actually don't honestly remember the
name
of the store.
But I will say that it's next to a gun store that is currently not open in San Carlos.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
And to be honest, like, some of the stuff that was in there, I was like, it's not that.
El Camino Real.
This is not an antique store that actually, like, you know,
in San Carlos
has anything that I think I would buy.
They had nothing in their value that I wanted to buy. Nothing.
Yeah. I didn't like anything, but I think more so that actual thing happened.
I love antique stores except for that one.
You done yet?
Nope, you put me over and flip me over.
Sorry. But anyways, I honestly just don't even bother buying
Chris
things.
Said he thought you were cute.
He thought you were cute, Diane. I don't think I was his type.
You should have rubbed his bald head.
He had a bald head? No, he had hair on the side.
Oh, that what that was? It looked like Lurch to me. Or not Lurch. Uncle Fester.
He like had
he
had a weird cut. I think he was bald in the middle and then had like hair on the side.
Well, I didn't know he was lurking around.
Oh, Jeanette, I'm sorry that happens to you. She said it happens to her a lot in Santa Monica, and she doesn't shop at Neiman's Marcus anymore.
Needless Markup? Never shop there. Well, I never shop at Needless Markup.
Needless Markup. I just don't. I just honestly, and you know, it's like, you should treat everyone the same. Like, and I get it. Like, the Bay is notorious for having shoplifters, you know, come in and take a lot of stuff. But if I was a shoplifter, you would know. You would know. I'm just like walking.
How would you know? Would you go in and go, hey, I'm a shoplifter.
No.
And I'm here to shoplift.
No, you would know if I was a shoplifter because you would have saw me taking shit.
Oh, stop for a second. Pause.
I cursed.
Oh, you gonna get us banned?
You would have saw me taking something.
Oh, you got mad, huh?
You would have saw me taking something, but then I wouldn't care that I was taking something, and I would have kept taking something, and then I would walk out.
Oh, you're a hardcore shoplifter, huh?
No, I'm saying I am not a shoplifter. But
no, but you just went straight from I'm not a shoplifter.
No, because that's what you see in the videos. They go in, they take all that stuff, and they don't care who's watching. They don't let anybody get in the way, and then they just take it and they walk out.
Okay, OJ, if I was a killer, this is how I would do it.
I'm just saying. I'm sorry that I cursed. Okay. Anyways, Diane would carry a sandwich board. I'm gonna steal from you.
Yeah. She didn't know what a sandwich board is, by the way.
What? No, like I'm thinking of like a, what do you call it? Like one of those things. And it has a sign and they've written, "I'm gonna steal from you." That's not what it is.
Yeah, it is. You hang it around your shoulder like
Yeah.
this? Yeah, okay. I thought you thought it was like a word with sandwiches on it.
Okay, there's some things I don't know. I'm not that naive. Thank you.
All right. You fit the profile. Yeah, right. I know.
Yeah, you fit the profile.
All right. So that was our experience at this nondescript um, uh, antique store on El Camino Real in San Carlos next to the old gun shop.
Anyways, so yeah, that was that. So if you're trying to go to an antique store, avoid that one.
I'm not stealing. I'm just borrowing this stuff for later. I'm not a thief. I just play with on TV.
Oh my gosh.
I'm doing thieving for an actor role I want to be in.
I'm doing thieving?
For an actor role, yeah. You make up something.
Oh goodness. Okay. Anyways.
Right. So we were talking about something else. Oh, so if you've been paying attention to California. Oh, wait, stop before we go to the California part. Make sure you do thumbs up. Thumbs up, and if you want to donate something, you have the option of using the Venmo, which is right here. Support the stream. You can do YouTube, all those different functions. If you want to help, because to keep the stream going, we appreciate it. And we thank you very much if you do. We'll see you there. We'll give a shout out for your name and everything else. Anyway, so our next thing was, if you haven't been to California right now and you've been paying attention, we have been inundated.
Yes.
Inundated with storms.
Yes.
So bad that we think our house is going to blow away one day.
I mean, this house, we had winds so bad last night that I was like, and I feel like the winds last night were worse than they normally have been.
Look, Gabriel's stuck on this whole thing. Read that.
What? I was just wondering if you're going to change your Twitter handle or if that was a joke. When did you say you're going to change your Twitter handle?
It's on my Twitter.
Oh. You mean that little part that says...
What little part that says?
Oh, wait, is it a tweet or
your tweet?
Oh, I didn't see it.
Look for it.
We're on the podcast right now.
Look for it.
Right.
You haven't even seen it.
I
made a tweet today that I'm going to change my Twitter handle in 6 days from today. And then my new handle is going to be, keep looking, my new handle is going to be, drum roll.
Still loading. I think I'm on extension right now.
Lord.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on, I'll pull up on
Wait, you have like almost 30,000 followers? Okay, wait, hold on. Gosh, you tweet like every 2 seconds.
Oh my god.
Hold on. Okay, hold on.
Oh my god.
Oh, just a heads up. In 6 days from the posting of this tweet, I will be changing my Twitter handle from hashtag Stanley Roberts to hashtag unnecessary action hero. You should plan accordingly. Why unnecessary action hero?
Hey, look at the video. You'll get it when you see the video.
Oh.
I love the name. Unnecessary action video.
Hero.
Hey, well, hero, you won't even let it load for you, huh?
No, it's taking too long to load.
Here's the video. I have it on my hard drive, so you can see it here.
So look.
Look, here it is. Yeah. What? April Fool's Day in 6 days. Exactly. So here it is. Let me turn the volume up. Necessary. All right. So I'll play it. You hear the audio from it. Oh, of course.
Ad?
Yeah. No, it's the wrong ad because.
Oh, Gabriel says I forgot about that. I thought maybe it had to do with the fact that Musk announced he will start removing the old blue checks starting April 1st. I wonder if Elon Musk is also pulling
I think so.
An April
So
Fool's.
here it is. You guys can't see it, but you can hear it. So it's...
No. There's a problem with my paycheck. It's short. Someone messed it up. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Unnecessary action here.
Is that really necessary?
Wow.
So it's an ad for a commercial where every time something goes wrong. So one of them, what caught my attention was, and what's the guy's name? Because he's from...
Unnecessary action hero?
the guy.
Oh, I don't
That's
know.
the guy from SWAT team. The one you got the hat from, Cujo, or the one that you have the hat
No,
from.
Shamar Moore.
Shamar Moore.
That's not Shamar
That's
Moore.
Shamar Moore, yeah.
That's not Shamar Moore, is
That's
it?
Shamar Moore. Watch.
Oh, that is Shamar Moore, yeah.
So in one of the scenes, Shamar Moore jumps through a window of the patio door, lands on the thing, and he goes, "Is that really necessary?" He goes, "No, but I'm here." And then when they get done, he jumps out the other window instead of the window he already broke.
Sorry, I didn't understand that.
So,
It's your
unnecessary
walkie-talkie.
action phone. So basically, I thought that was so funny that, and it's funny. It's not really an April Fool's joke if somebody wants you to verify that you're going to change your name. So you have to wait and see if I change my name on April 1st.
Okay, got it. Gabriel says, no, I'm pretty sure that Musk was serious about that, Diane. He's been saying for a while that they will go away at some point.
I believe it's a prank to get your attention, and he got your attention. So I mean, I think that he's not going to change it. That means that every single agency on Twitter would have to pay for it because they're all verified legacy tweets. So I don't see that happening. I think it's one of his April Fool's jokes, just a really good one. At this point, from now till April 1st,
Don't believe
anything you read or see or hear. Most of it could be a prank one way or another. Just a heads up.
Gabriel says, the joke's on you, then I'm just going to sign up for a new Twitter account with that handle so that you can't use it.
Well, the joke's on you because it's too many characters. You can't use it anyway.
Okay, but the joke's on you now that you've spoiled your...
Doesn't matter.
Okay, the joke's on everyone.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Yes, Chris, Shamar Moore from Soul Train. Wait, was Shamar Moore on Soul Train? Yeah, he was. He hosted Soul Train, right?
I don't watch.
Oh, crap. Wait, hold on. Oh, gosh. You guys, I can't have two moded moments during this podcast. Did he host Soul Train? Or did he dance in Soul Train?
Apparently he did, according to Chris. He hosted it.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I thought.
Well,
he did it briefly because the original host was what's his name? Oh God, the guy with the glasses, right?
Wait, aren't you so glad that he embedded into your head?
Yes, Don Cornelius. There you go, Don Cornelius retired. Yes.
Historically speaking, I worked on the Soul Train for a few years, helping out with.
But you weren't there when Shamar Moore.
I was not there when Shamar Moore.
No, you were not.
When I worked in LA, I did a lot of different stuff. I had a man of many hats.
You still are a man of many hats. All the hats in his closet. My goodness
Are hats of many hats.
Too many hats. Yes, that is the same Shamar Moore, Young and the Restless.
Yes. Anyway, that being said, man, that thing's just rolling in. Did you get the 2-piece boxes for lunch? Did you get the 2-piece boxes for lunch? Did you get the 2-piece? I don't know what that means.
2-piece boxes for lunch?
I didn't think about it being too long. That's why I'd go with, why would you be a profile with that username? It says page not found instead of account doesn't exist.
2-piece boxes?
So he actually tried it.
2-piece boxes for lunch?
I don't know. Maybe because we fight each other? 2-piece? Fist fight? I don't know. I really don't know this one.
I don't either. Chris, please explain. We're so confused
Let me talk to my Dick Tracy watch. Dick Tracy, what do you think's happening?
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
Oh my God.
Yes, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Soul Train used to feed the dancers 2-piece boxes from KFC for lunch every weekend, according to Rosie Perez. Oh, I didn't know that. You should have known that, Mr. I Work
All I knew was that they had 3 groups of people that were dancers. So they had the first group that would dance for the first segment. Mm-hmm. And then once they got done, they would kick them out and bring in the next group, and they would dance. Mm-hmm. I didn't stick around to see what they had for lunch because I was too busy. When you're working as a technical person, you don't really notice or pay attention to what they're feeding the talent.
What was that sound?
My watch with this.
Oh, okay, because I thought it was your ringing. I'm like, oh, you're not wearing it.
Yeah. So, that being said, the crews don't eat with the talent.
Oh.
They don't.
Okay.
They don't. They just don't.
Okay.
Okay. So, Reggie Rutherford was the stage manager.
That's right. That's a friend of yours.
Yeah, and you met Reggie.
Yeah.
So, we worked on Soul Train Music Awards. That's where I met a lot of celebrities. Mm-hmm. It's so funny. So, today I'm talking to my friend Lynn. And she was, we were talking about all the different people I know, and then I left a message on Carlos Santana's phone, letting him know that I had a new website up, and told him to give me a call if he can, or if not, just check the website out, and if he has any projects he's interested in me doing, let me know. And so I have the ability to, for a lot of you know that for a fact, though even though I just kind of talked about it right now, I don't talk about all the celebrity friends that I have. And the ones that I do have sometimes, if I tag them, they'll call me and ask me can I untag them because they don't want people to start, because they start noticing people start following them.
Remember I was trying to get you to hook me up with Will Smith?
I know. And he told you, people don't believe it that, when.
Hands are so cold.
Thank you, I know. So it's weird because I do have a lot of quote unquote celebrity friends. I don't always call them and they don't always call me, but we do know each other. And they respond every now and then. One of the people who I knew was, and I'm really sad for him, he was Sinbad. He had a stroke.
Oh yeah, that's right, he had a stroke.
So Sinbad was, Drew Carey, we got a picture of him and I at CBS, at ABC in LA, and I was wearing a CBS sports shirt. So the picture I have is him trying to cover up the CBS while I'm doing I'm taking the picture. So we did that one, and there's a few people that I've interacted with over the years. Whoopi Goldberg and I got in a fight over who farted. It was like, and we all knew it wasn't either one of us.
Are you sure it wasn't?
I think it was Tom. What's his name? Her husband at that time, her boyfriend. I forgot his name now. They were
Ted Danson.
Ted Danson. We think it was.
Do they date in real life?
They did date.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, what else we got going on here? So we got a few more minutes left. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this bad puppy up?
Harold says Don Cornelius' backstory is very interesting, worth Googling.
Yeah, he has an interesting story, yes.
I can't believe I forgot his name. I legit just said the guy with the glasses.
Imagine you all that life trying to get your name recognized.
Don't worry, Don Cornelius. Don Cornelius wouldn't trip off the fact that a nobody didn't get his name.
He's rolling over his old Cornelius grave right now.
Well, he would not trip off the fact that I forgot his name.
What if you became uber famous in like a few more years and go, I remember Diane when she didn't remember my name before she was uber famous.
Well, we'll worry about that then.
All right.
But I'm not uber famous, so if I ever get to be uber famous, we'll focus on it then.
You could be, but right now, some person could be watching this podcast right now going, oh my God, I love her. I love her style. I love her pizzazz. I want her to be in my next big motion picture. It could happen.
I mean, anything's possible.
Why do you think so many people are trying to be instant fames on Twitter,
I'm not trying
Instagram,
to be instant fames. I'm not trying to do that though.
TikTok?
I'm not trying to do that.
They're all trying to be TikTok millionaires.
I'm not.
They set themselves on fire so they can become famous, not realizing that once you set yourself on fire, it's pretty much a done deal. It's kind of like the
you set yourself on fire, there's no coming back.
There's no coming back from that.
No.
Hey, look, I don't know, like the guy who put the gun to his chest and pretended he was shooting himself in the chest.
Gosh.
Now, the problem I have with that was, it was fun. I get it. You're joking. But some morons want to take a real gun and try it themselves and go, dude, I saw a dude do it. He survived. Boom. Now he's dead.
And you can bet your last money it's all going to be a stone gas, honey. I'm Don Cornelius, and as always in parting, we wish you love, peace, and soul. Train. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris says that's from memory.
Look at you.
Look at you, Chris. You were just like a
proverbial dictionary.
You were just like, you just have so much knowledge.
All right. Anything else? Any more? We're going to read some questions now from Diane will read some questions from you.
There are no questions.
8 seconds from now there will be.
Oh, okay.
So for the next 8 seconds, she will read your questions and I will answer them.
Oh, dang, I didn't even notice that Jeanette said this. She said, we have problems at the antique stores and flea markets here in Albuquerque with folks stealing stuff and selling it at the pawn shop.
That's not unusual. That happens a lot.
Goodness.
All right. What is, really, what's 2 plus 2? What's 2 plus 2?
5?
Yeah, exactly. 5. All right, next question.
Chris says, I watch Soul Train every weekend, like, religiously. I love it.
The studio was about as big as this house.
We should, you know what?
What?
We should do our own version of Soul Train.
Let's not say we did. You want to do something. Oh, let's have fun Fridays. Oh, let's jump out of a parachute and
Jump out of
without
a parachute?
and land on a grain of salt.
No one said any of that. I didn't say that.
You know, how can we get Twitter famous? Let's set myself on fire. Yeah. While we smoking a joint with gasoline.
Anyways, Jeanette says, I'm a social media influencer, quotes, according to Twitter, I'm a local celebrity here in Albuquerque. Nice. Let's try this. What is two?
You know, it's Gabriel's been.
Okay.
So look, here's one. What is the air? Oh, you gotta ask the question. I have to answer it.
If Chris says, what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
Read it again.
I don't want.
There's nothing to read.
No, I'm not reading it again.
What is the airspeed of an unswallowed swallow? Read it again.
No, I'm not reading it again. You missed your chance.
What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
Here's what I found from Stagric.com.
24 miles per hour. Next question. Sally, I have always not liked you, but as I get older, you are growing on me, and I think I'm starting to like you.
Wow. Well, I'm not sure how to take that.
Well, thank you, Larry. No, you can't sleep in our bed, but thank you.
Larry Jones, here's one fun fact. I have always liked Stanley.
One thing I know for a fact since I've been a kid, you either love me or you hate me. There is no in between.
I love you.
So either you love me or you hate me. Is that your real number?
What?
Hey, here's a question. If a plane crashed between the Canadian border and the American border, where would they bury the survivors?
If a plane crashed, they wouldn't bury survivors, babe. They would not bury survivors. They're still alive.
All right, fair enough.
Really?
Just checking.
What do you think? I'm DUMB?
What?
You think I'm DUMB?
D-U-M-B?
Yeah.
Dumb?
Yes. Oh, I'm glad you can spell.
It's D-U-M.
B.
D-U-M.
B.
Dumb?
Dumb. Dumb. Chris says, what's the name of Meatloaf's character in the Rocky Horror Picture Show? Sorry, I never saw it. Can't answer that question.
Hold it. What is Meatloaf's character in the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Here's what I found from Wikipedia.
Eddie.
His film roles include Eddie in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, 1970.
Wow. Someone be cheating. Harold says, I have a question for Stanley. What, if any, laws/circumstances concern people who are after their license plates to make them dull across the numbers?
Ask it one more time because I have to digest that.
What, if any, laws/circumstances concern people who alter their license plates to make them dull across the numbers?
A lot of cities and states have laws that said you cannot alter a license plate. So license plates are built with reflective coating so that way when the cameras hit it, it bounces off and they can read it. When you remove the reflective coatings, it makes it hard for them to read them so they get an error message. So by doing that, you're altering a plate and you can be cited for that. It's a fix-it ticket unless they can prove that you altered it to avoid tolls. Then it could be a toll evasion ticket, which could be a lot more expensive. What is so funny?
No, I'm not laughing. Am I laughing? I'm
Yes.
smiling. Does that include paper temporary license plates?
Any plate that's altered is a violation if you alter it. If you changed anything on it, and then there was a story on which another person I chat with every now and then, Inside Edition. She did a story about how I think she did
Lisa Guerrero?
Lisa Guerrero. I think it was her, where they had, and it may not have been her, but it might have been Inside Edition, where they were putting like leaves in their license plate to cover the leaf, the number, so they could go through the tolls. And then one person they would take the leaf off, and someone would put it back on again. So they would they targeted a couple cars they knew that were toll evaders, and to see how they would change their license plate, like they would make the L into an E with a magic marker.
Oh my gosh.
So people go through great lengths to alter a license plate. It's up to the CHP or whatever agency that patrols your area, Ohio State Patrol. It's up to them to determine if you did it accidentally or you did it.
Hey, look, David Baum is here. I remember those episodes on behaving badly. They scrubbed those plates.
Thank you, David. You know what the funny part about that story is? I made the Highway Patrol aware of that issue. They weren't even aware that was a problem. So I took them out one day and I said, hey, can we do a story on altered license plates? And they go, what do you mean altered license plates? And I said, well, can we go out and I'll show you? And so we went out. They sent me out with an officer who I never rode him before, but they just let me ride around. He's like, so explain what you mean. So we pulled. Sorry.
Water?
No, I'm okay. We pulled over in East Bay, and I'm going to show them a car.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what we found was in one case there was they call them roach coaches, food trucks.
Mm-hmm.
The license plate, they had Brillowed everything off the license plate. It was just solid. You couldn't see anything. Pulled it over and turned. They had Brillowed it with. They used to Brillow it, and then filled in the numbers with magic marker. Well,
So it couldn't be read, but it still looked like it
like
was.
you had a plate.
Yeah.
Right, and so it turns out that not only did they have the altered plate, but they also were driving no insurance, no registration. So usually,
And this is their company food truck.
it's the food truck. And they were riding with they're riding dirty.
They were riding mad dirty.
But people they were doing is and they do it now is they scrub off the protective seal coating.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's something that people didn't know. They fixed it, but if you wanted to do it without breaking the law, all you do is buy the black license plates because they didn't put the coating on the black license plates in the beginning.
Oh, the legacy plates.
The legacy plates weren't.
Oh, but it's fixed now?
It's fixed now.
Oh,
They
man.
figured it out that it was
I'm
fixed.
just kidding.
So the legacy
Because
plates,
I have legacy
they
plates.
forgot to put the coating on it.
Yeah.
So the legacy plates that's why they were selling out so fast. And people were like, oh, if you have those, it doesn't read them. And when I would ride with, now some cars have something called the flock.
Mm-hmm.
Flock. Flock is plates. There used to be plate readers on the cars, and they got rid of those now. So now in some cities, if you drive into the city, they have flock readers in the entrance to the city.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up on a pole, and it reads all the plates as you go through. And if they find a stolen plate, they alert everybody that, hey, there's a stolen car in the neighborhood, and they go and grab them. So now they are getting more guns, more stolen cars, and more drugs because of these, and you don't see them.
Yeah.
And it's not like on the side of a car. But when
Did
I
they have
rode,
those in San Francisco?
but I don't know. But when I rode in, I know they have a lot on the peninsula.
Mm-hmm.
But when I rode in the cars in Richmond a long time ago, they had the old plate readers, and you would get an error message, and they couldn't figure out why is it an error. And I said, look at the plate. They altered it. They took the coating off. So we'll give them an error message and not a plate reading.
Yeah.
So that's what was going on. So CHP figured out after we doing a story that there was an issue. And so then we started tagging people going to the Golden Gate Bridge that were altering their license plates just to avoid bridge tolls.
Yeah, because Golden Gate Bridge here is the most expensive,
Yeah.
has the most expensive bridge toll.
Yeah, so anyway, where are we?
Gabriel says, I remember on one of Stanley's segments, someone put a dealer plate over his license plate. The cop was like, peekaboo.
That was the one.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
That was a Mercedes-Benz driver he had a trunk full of plates.
Mm.
He said his plate didn't come, but we opened the trunk up, his plates were in the trunk.
Oh, wow.
Oh, well, but he was using the peekaboo plate. Yeah, peekaboo, peekaboo, peekaboo.
Peekaboo.
So.
Larry says, oh, I missed the Larry one. It's going away.
Yes, cameras are everywhere.
Oh, where are you?
Oh, Larry said, I was young and behaving badly. Oh, wait, it went away. Hold on. Oops. When I was young and behaving badly, you were always just a little dude hating on us living our life. But now I'm 42 and a law-abiding citizen with kids, and now I see the people doing wild stuff and it upsets me. And you have to understand though, and I get it. People, when you're young, you think, oh, he's just snitching on people. First of all, people don't know the definition of snitching, number one. But number two, every action there's a reaction. Mm-hmm. And the action is, as people do things if you're a law-abiding citizen, you're doing everything by the book to make sure that you don't get in trouble, but everybody else is skating the books. If that doesn't upset you and make you angry, then there's something wrong. Mm-hmm. Because I pay taxes, I pay car registration. You know, I'm the guy that would not pay my registration and get cited.
Yeah, if I'm the person that if I did something wrong, I'd be the one that got caught.
Right.
So
5 minutes later, there'd be a cop right there. Oh, your registration expired like 4 seconds ago. That's the kind of stuff, that kind of life I live. But I didn't do people behaving badly knowing that it would create it would be a polarization of people. I did it because I was lazy. People behaving badly was because I was lazy. It came about because crime made us all VJs, video journalists. In other words, I was a cameraman who didn't become a reporter. They wanted me to go out and do something called point of view, which was basically go out and show you a fire and talk about the fire and then go and be done with it, move on to the next thing. Which, ironically, I did at CBS in LA, but it wasn't called that. Mm-hmm. I would go up in the morning with a live truck and a microphone and talk about.
You were like Kronzioli,
yeah.
or
yes, but for CBS in LA.
Yeah.
So, but then I had an idea, and I said, look, I want to go out and show people doing stuff they probably shouldn't be doing, and then let people decide. I don't want to give an opinion. I'm not giving an opinion. Just telling you what the rules are with the and it morphed. When I first started, I was like, and these people over here are drinking.
He was hella monotone.
But I didn't have, and then I realized that I had to write my script a certain way.
See these people? See these
which
people?
allowed me to read it a certain way. And then now because people said I had a sing-song voice. So when I went from monotone to sing-song, which I had no idea what sing-song was. And then it was like barrages of emails. Either you love me or you hate me. It wasn't no...
You were getting mad tips though.
Mad tips. And the funny thing about the tips, I told you this today, was the tips were from people ratting on their own people.
Mm-hmm. Because they were on the inside.
Yeah. The tips were people ratting on their own people.
David says, keep being lazy, people being belly was awesome.
And Jeanette said, you inspired me to do my show. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Ironically, I inspired a lot of people to do shows similar to this. So was it Texas? Austin, Texas?
No,
Corpus Christi. There was a show called People Behaving Badly.
That didn't look good.
And the guy got arrested for beating his wife. So and I said to Diane,
I'm not laughing at that part. I'm laughing at the part that I feel like you always say that when you talk about that.
Well, because I said, my argument was, if you're going to do a show called People Behaving Badly,
don't behave badly.
You can't behave badly because you can't call somebody else out if you're breaking all the rules yourself.
Yeah, that's true, yep.
So, and then there was another guy who was doing something similar, and then he got caught drunk in public, and he was urinating in public, and I'm like, and then I had people call me up saying, hey, can I use your name to do my show? I'm like, I mean, everybody else is doing it, I don't care. So no one cared about the name. No one cared about the name until I decided to take it with me. And then everybody cared about the name. Now the best part about it, the branding was so incredible. The branding was so great. So many people understood the branding. They just couldn't wait to tell me how they knew the branding, and they had to announce how it was embedded in their head by saying, hey, you're Stanley on your side.
Oh my God. Yeah, people couldn't remember what station you worked for.
You're ABC Behaving Badly.
Yeah.
You're everything except for People Behaving Badly.
People legit would come and be like, hey, you're that guy acting badly, right?
Yeah, you're Stanley acting badly. Or my favorite when they send me an email. I sent you an email. Did you get it? What email did you send to? Stanley Badly? Where did you get that email address from? Well, your name is Stanley and the show's Badly, so I figured Stanley Badly. I'm like, okay, well, that would explain why I didn't get your email.
My goodness gracious.
Or some people got pissed. They were literally irate that they gave me a story and I didn't do the story. Hey, this story, you got to do this. It's incredible. You got to see this story. Okay. And I was like, this ain't a story. And they go, did you do my story? Because they still doing it. And you didn't do anything. And
wait, you can do a story and it's going to get you like 100 views.
Oh. Okay.
No,
maybe
we shouldn't though.
I'm going to say this one.
No, we shouldn't.
No, I'm going to say this one. I'm going to end it on this one.
No, we shouldn't. Cause
I don't care.
Okay.
So, yes, the other day we were in the car and my phone rings. And the person answered the phone and I said, hello. And because somebody just called before that. Mm-hmm. So I assumed it was them calling back, but I didn't look at the caller ID. They said, hey, it's blah, blah, blah. I go, okay. And I said, who is this? He goes, it's blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. Still don't know who blah, blah, blah is, but I'm going to go with it. And then they told me what they did before, and I'm like, okay, but I'm still like trying to connect the dots. And I'm like, well, how did you get my number? And I have no idea. And maybe I gave it to them 5 years ago and they found it again. But the funny part was, everything being equal, the guy had a really good story tip. And he sent me some pictures to back it up. It was a good story. But what made me laugh was I said to him, you know I don't do local news anymore, right? Mm-hmm. He goes, yeah, I know. But this story will get you 100 views. No, it'll get you 100 likes. Or no, did he say likes or views?
I think he said views.
Yeah, he said, you'll get at least 100 views out of this. So you should do this. And I'm like, oh, wow, you sold me at 100.
Yeah, I was like, oh, gosh, 100 views is like nothing.
Thank you, Big Fee, for a super chat. For 99 cents.
It's Big Bucks. Big Bucks Bradley.
Well, it's small words for me.
What did you say, Bixby?
Bixby, yeah. Thank you, Big Bucks Bradley, for the 99 cent super chat. Woo! Thank you, 99 cents. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Big Bucks.
Yeah. But we still got the trendsetter for donations.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Baum himself.
Mr. David F. Baum.
David F. Baum himself.
I like that, David F. Baum.
who used to dump us, who dumped us some big chunks of chunkies.
I'm mad that Larry Jones said, damn, I'm getting old. I can relate to Stanley Roberts. Or maybe that you're not getting old,
You're
but
just getting
maybe
more.
that you're getting more like you're coming to your senses.
There you go.
There you go.
You know.
It ain't got to be about getting old, though.
How many times you going to do donuts before you realize that shit cost you? Oops. How many times you going to do
How
donuts?
many times have we cursed?
How many times you going to do donuts when you realize that the tires cost more money?
Or you're going to F up your car.
That reminds me of the time when, remember the Oakland riots when the Raiders lost and they had a riot even though they lost?
It was like 2000, was that 8?
Right.
No, wait.
So
Early 2000s.
So there was a tire store that I used to go to over there.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to get my tires for my cars. And I was talking to the owner one day. He knew who I was. And he was telling me, yeah, we had to put these big gates up because people, during the Raider riots is what I called them, people were breaking in and stole our tires.
Mm-hmm.
And, and our rims. And so, I'm sorry, I'm laughing because he said that one day when everything settled down, a guy shows up with 4 tires and asks what kind of rims he's going on because he got them as a gift. Those were his tires. Oh, wait a minute. No, he showed up with 4 rims and said, you know what kind of tires fit these rims because he got them as a gift. The gift were his rims that they stole.
They stole his rims?
No, those are the rims he stole.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tried to come there and get them to put tires on them. So people are not that bright.
No, clearly.
If you're going to bring back the stolen tires and ask them to give you stolen rims and ask you what tires fit these rims.
Jeanette said that happened 2003.
Thank you for the date.
Okay. Yeah, because I said 2008. I was like, I can't remember. Something earlier.
But I will tell you this. And someone asked this question earlier, and I meant to answer it and I didn't. So if you're still here, I'm going to answer your question now. The question was, what do I think about how things have just turned violent over the last years? How everything has just gotten crazy. And I've asked this question to you 100 times. I don't think anything has changed. Everything is exactly the way it has been. The problem is now that we see more of it because social media is no longer filtering us from. It's because if you really want to think about crime, think about when the mobsters were in their heydays. Watch Buck's Godfather of Harlem.
After Bumpy Johnson.
That was really violent. Literally, people were laying in the streets dead.
People were also smashed in cars.
Yes, and cars alive.
Alive.
They were hanging from trees alive. So they weren't, only thing you saw then was whatever you saw in the news. Now we no longer have a filter. And so now there's more of everything being broadcast out there, which, now, is it getting worse? People would argue that it's not because statistics say that crime is getting lower. Statistics only go off of what's reported.
Exactly. Yeah, you mentioned that last week.
If you don't report it, it
Yeah.
doesn't get. If you don't report, if you don't file a police report, it never happens.
That's right. So statistics are only what's being tracked, right?
Yeah, and it's not just in the Bay. It's a nationwide thing. Everything that's going on is nationwide. But if you watch Twitter, you'd swear that San Francisco's up in flames right now, and there's poop everywhere in San Francisco.
Well, and I think also if you're on social media and if you're watching the news, you would think that there are a lot of different things happening in Florida as well, right?
So David wrote, I don't do any of those I don't do any of the other ways to support you.
And it sounds like YouTube
just takes a big cut,
and you have to wait a month to get the money.
No, it's what it is. I mean, I don't argue, and as I tell people, I got $1. I had $1 more than I had before. So
we appreciate any amount.
You tell us which way you would be willing to support us, and we will bend over backwards to help you support it. We're not going to be like no, but tell us what you use, and we'll tell you if we have the ability for you to use it. So we have the access to PayPal, we have access to Zelle, we have access to Venmo, we have access to obviously Twitter, where you can make donations. Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah.
So those are the only ways we have right now. Those are 5 different ways. The other way would be just to mail us a check. Or,
old school way, right?
Old school. Or just, there's no money taken out of PayPal. PayPal is we get it and we get it all straight up.
So is, I think, Venmo.
Yeah, and I trust PayPal because when I use PayPal to buy stuff online, because if I buy something online, Apple Watch, and it turns out to be fake, then I can go to PayPal and say I got ripped off, and they'll reverse the funds.
I was like, why are you saying Apple Watch now again?
So here's a funny story.
Oh my god, I don't know if it's actually that funny.
It's funny to me. So here's a funny story.
Okay.
I wanted an Apple Watch so bad. I wanted one so bad. And I was online trying to find a good cheap Apple Watch.
This was before I got you an Apple Watch?
Just before you got me an Apple Watch.
Okay.
And I went online and I found a website that said Apple, just kidding, I don't want to reveal your address. Yeah, you can, I have a private chat here for you. If you really want it, I can send it to you in private chat. And they have a private chat here that allows me to send people messages. So anyway, here's what happened with the Apple Watch. I wanted one really, really bad. I had an Apple phone, which you turned me on to because I was a BlackBerry person.
I turned you on to a lot of
Then I
things.
switched to Samsung, and then they kept talking to me, so I got rid of it. Let me see, hold on.
What are you doing?
I was trying to...
Do it afterwards, Reeve. You're still in the middle of a story.
No, I was trying to figure out how you do it. I don't even know how to do it. Anyway, so I wanted one really, really bad, and I went online to look for a good imitation. I mean, not a good imitation, a good Apple Watch. And I found a website called applewatch.com. Not thinking anything about it. I was thinking applewatch.com.
Did you see my face?
Yeah. So I went on and brought an Apple Watch it was cheap. So, you get what you pay for. And I went and paid for it. And then I told her, I found an Apple Watch. And turns out, so here's the deal. It was Apple products. But what they were doing is, and what they are doing is, some watches were decommissioned because they did not work properly. So they were sent back to China to be demolished and start all over again. So these watches didn't exist anymore. But the problem is they didn't send me a watch. What did
They
they
sent
send
you
me?
AirPods.
They sent me AirPods.
AirPod Pros.
AirPod Pros.
Yeah.
And they were in an Apple box. They were legit AirPod Pros. But I ran the serial number. And the serial number said that they were decommissioned by Apple 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So someone intercepted the decommissioned AirPod Pros that did not work. That's why they were decommissioned, and were selling them as Apple products.
So the AirPod Pros you have don't work?
No, I have a real set now, but the ones that I got through that didn't work. They had no functionality whatsoever. So, and there was no way to get your money back at that point. So I learned. You learn. I mean, I wasn't going to advertise it.
AppleWatch.com.
Yeah, well, that's what I did.
Oh.
Shout out to Jeanette. Excellent insights. What did she write? 9% of the time, the local news doesn't cover the good stuff that goes on, nor do they cover the hood. Well, okay. This is my last thought, because I'm going to comment on covering the hood. I'm going to comment on covering the hood. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to comment on why the news is a problem with covering the hood. And it has gotten worse when it comes to this. So the best way to prevent news from the hood from coming out is to attack the source of the news. In this case, they're attacking the source of the news at the source. So when the news crews were showing up to do stories in the hood that would benefit people in the neighborhood, the news crews were attacked. They were either shot, reporters were shot, photographers were shot,
or
robbed at gunpoint, beat up. And I've had people that were robbed, beat up, spent in the hospital at gunpoint in certain parts of Oakland, where they were going to do a story that they thought was safe. It had gotten to the point. Now here's a progression of security in the Bay Area. When I first started doing people behaving badly, which was in 2006, I literally could walk around Oakland with a camera in my hand and record stuff, and people would be like, hey, I'd walk to the Bayview with a camera and no one said a word. Hey, Stanley, high five, good to see you. Keep me off your camera, but do what you got to do. I'll give you a tip if you don't put me on camera. 2007, same thing. I remember I ran into a reporter who was walking around in 2008. She's now a PIO for, I think, Mountain View. I saw her walking by herself, and I said, what are you doing out here by yourself? She goes, I'm just trying to cover a news story. I said, you might not want to be here by yourself. You might want to get somebody with you, so I'll walk with you the whole time we're here. Because, and she was white, but she was a PIO, and now she's a PIO. She reminded me of that I, kind of grabbed her and put her on my wing so nothing would happen to her. But I thought that was pretty bad for the radio station to send her out there with just a camera, not with a microphone to do interviews. 2009, still no problems. I walk around Oakland. I drive around Oakland, no issues. I go into the places where the homeless were encampments, where we knew that they had garbage everywhere. Nobody bothered me. That proceeded up until around about 2013, 14 maybe. Then people were getting more and more robbed. And we started having to go in with security. You had to have security to go into there to cover certain parts of Oakland. Now, at that point, it was only Oakland. So it didn't bleed over into Emeryville, Berkeley. None of those places bled over into. It was just Oakland. It was constant. So the news crews were like, oh, well, we'll just do a live shot on the edge of Berkeley or the edge of Emeryville because that's safe. Mm-hmm. You don't need security because you're in another city. Well, then the bad guys figured out that we just go into Emeryville and rob them. So then they started robbing them in Emeryville. And so then they figured that. And so with me, I didn't have bodyguards at first. And then I finally got one, but I had to ask for it. And they recommended that I have 2 bodyguards because I was a high profile target. They said to the bodyguard, to the company, you're just trying to make more money off us. He don't need 2 bodyguards. And I even asked for a body armor, bulletproof vest. I was told that if you have to go in the area that you need body armor, then you don't need to cover that story. Which goes back to the story about they don't understand. These are people who live in areas that don't have to deal with crime. They don't have to deal with crime. They get into their luxury houses, they get in their luxury cars, they drive to their office, their luxury desk, and they do their luxury stories and tell people how to do the stories. And they go back to their luxury homes and away from all the crime. They don't have to experience crime. I always just say, if you really want to know what's happening with crime, when we go travel out of town, where do I always go?
To the hood.
Why do I always go to the hood?
Because you want to see
I want to see what's it like to be in that area. Because, and one thing I noticed about the hood, and I told you this before, you can always see the rich part of town from the hood. If you go to Oakland, you can see all the lights from San Francisco, everything lit up. That's where all the money is, the financial district. If you go to Las Vegas and you stand on the middle on Martin Luther King Boulevard, you see all of the lights from Las Vegas on the strip. That's where all the money is. That's where they keep everything under control. If you stand in any city that is poor, you can see the money. You just can't get to it because they do everything in their power to make sure that you don't get to it. Now, who are they? Well, then you have to decide who that person is. But, and they keep those things in those areas. And as long as it doesn't escape those areas, they were good. What happened here was the confinement ended and they got out. And now there's literally people are following people for 30 miles to steal their camera equipment from them. They are literally following crews for 30 miles just to wait for them to stop their car so they can rob them cold-blooded with a gun, with a clip, a 1-foot clip of rounds, a 1-foot magazine full of bullets. Awesome story. I've been in Oakland with security for work. It changed me. I just thought, why does this place have to be this way? So, everything being equal, we like to say that, and I'm going to get some slack from this one. I'm going to say it anyway. People like to say that because we want to say because we're not offered the same opportunities, so we have to go out because we're desperate. Desperate is about going to a grocery store and buying, stealing food to feed your family. Not going to the Louis Vuitton store to steal several bags of stuff to take it to the store, take it home and sell it. And if you want to find a lot of the stolen stuff in San Francisco, the irony of this all is a lot of it's in some of these swap meets. But no one can go in there because without proof that the stuff was stolen, you can't just go in there. So you would have to literally tag something, wait for it to be stolen, and see where it ends up. That's how they found our cameras. And I'm not going to go because I'm not going to reveal how they track the cameras. But they have ways of tracking the cameras now. And in one case, they tracked it to a house that wasn't in the hood. It was not in the hood. It was in a rich neighborhood, way out in the middle of somewhere else. And there were a bunch more cameras in the same house. So it's easy to say that it's these guys committing the crimes. But there's always somebody behind these crimes. There's always somebody. There's some person that's taking all this stuff. They call it a fence. You steal, you give it to them, and they give you money for it. Question is, how do you find them? You can't, and if I go up and accuse you, I say, I think you're a fence. Well, I don't have any evidence. What are you going to do? You're going to be mad and sue. Because we live in is it legit? What's the word I'm looking for? I was going to say lethargic, but that's tired. We live in a world where people want to sue all the time. We can't wait to sue somebody. I was talking to Lynn today. She was an old KGO producer, and we talked about if you're rich. If I, right now that since I don't have in opinion, I don't have a dime to my name or a bucket to throw it into. Nobody cares about me right now. Everything I say right now doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. But now, if next week I were to hit the lottery for $30 million, all of a sudden everything I said in the past will now be the crime of the future. Because now, that's called a nuisance suit. You can get what you want from me because now you can sue me. Then you go, well, you don't have a leg to stand on. It doesn't matter if you don't have a leg to stand on. A nuisance suit means that you will settle out of court to avoid going to trial. You will give them some kind of money. They'll walk away with something. I read once that people who win the lottery have a better chance of nuisance suits than anyone else because people want to literally sue you to get something. People want your money for the love of money, like the OJ's wrote. For the love of money, people can't even walk the street because you never know who you're going to meet for that mean green, green. So everybody wants your money. And rich people don't want to give up their money, and the poor people want more money. And the rich people will be very, very stingy with every dime because they don't want to give it up, but you can't take it with you. If you died tomorrow and you had $1 billion, guess what? You're dead and there's still $1 billion out there. And now there's going to be a new battle. Everybody's going to fight for that billion. My mom died with a $6,000 life insurance policy. And I kid you not, I had to use every cent of it to clean up her house, get everything thrown away, take care of her burial, take care of everything, flying back and forth from hotels. And literally people were mad at me because I got a phone call going, Uncle Stanley, where's the money from Mom's insurance? You're supposed to give it to us. I'm like, no, that's not true. I mean, I had to use it. So thank you, David, for the two.
David, thank you.
Thank you. Woohoo! So, thank you, David, for the $100. And it's 100. Am I saying it right? Yeah, I'm saying it right. And super chat, and appreciate it. But the point we're trying to make is, and everything being equal, is that don't covet money.
Oh, David, thank you.
Thank you again, David. Don't covet money. Covet who you are. Be real with yourself, not real with the money. And I'll tell people, they go, well, I can't make any money because the white man's holding me down. No, it's you may put a hurdle in front of you, but what do you do when you run a race? You run races. Mm-hmm. When you put those hurdles, what do? You go, oh, I can't jump this. What do?
Yeah, you jump over them.
You jump them, right? You jump over her, and every now and then you might hit a hurdle and they'll knock you down, but do you stop?
Nope.
You keep running.
Yep.
Look at life like a hurdle. You keep running, you keep trying, you keep going. Thank you, David. So, and thank you for Super Chat. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for the Super Chat, David. F-bomb.
Super Sticker.
Oh, Super Sticker.
Woo-hoo!
Oh, yeah, Super Sticker.
Thank you for the Super Sticker.
Pair character riding a firework rocket disappearing away before bursting in the sky. That's how Restream describes it.
Yeah, it's funny. So, what I said to you was real stuff, real life. I mean, I've experienced real life as a journalist from starting in Salinas in 1990 and semi-retired now. I only say semi-retired because I'm not out every single day fighting a war that I have to worry about if I want to get shot for covering the news. But you can have all the money in the world, still be a miserable person. I saw that for years when I worked in West LA. You know what's funny? You're right. You're right about that because I know people who were filthy rich and committed suicide. And you go, well, why would they kill themselves? They have everything in the world they want. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It does not matter how much money you have. And Diane will tell you, I'm the kind of person that if I had the money, I don't mind spending it. Because she's like, no, I don't want that. No, I think you should have it. We walked to the mall and she goes, well, look at that Michael Kors purse. And next thing you know, she has a Michael Kors purse. This was back in the day when we had the money. Mm. But you remember, if we wanted something, and you like, beep. And I'm like, if you like it, then have it. You should not have to feel bad about you liking something. You should take it and enjoy it. I want to give you the world, but right now it's messed up. It's like somebody shook it a little bit.
You're all I need.
Oh, thank you. Anyway, so we've been on here for an hour and a half.
I know, my potato's cold.
And your potato's cold, I'm sorry. And you're hungry. She's hungry.
I'm hungry.
And normally we don't eat this late, but we are going to eat late.
But we didn't eat dinner beforehand, so yeah, I'm going to have a little something right now.
A little something. So she's gonna eat, and I'm gonna have some. Oh yeah, by the way, we hit up some Girl Scouts the other day, and
Oh
so.
God, David, are you doing this by accident now? David.
Thank you, David, again.
David, thank you. Are you doing this by accident?
He's funny. Thank you, David. So, anyway, thank you for another $50, David. So, here's a funny story, and it's not true, but it's a funny story. I want to preface it by saying it's not true, so I don't get everybody all upset. And so we got some Girl Scout cookies, and then they were charging $6 for the boxes. And then we walked down the street, and you know I'm a practical joker. And so there was another box of Girl Scout cookies on the other end of the block. And they said, "Excuse me, sir, do you want to buy some Girl Scout cookies?" And I said, "How much are yours?" They go, $6. And I said, "Oh, wow, they're charging for $3 down the street." It was just a joke.
He wanted to do it, but he didn't.
I didn't do it.
So it didn't happen. But
Yeah.
he was thinking like, oh, let's tell them that it's $3 down here so they can give us more. But yeah. Oh, you know what?
Hey, look who just showed up.
John
John
says he's late.
I know,
And
John.
that reminds me, there was, and I'm not sure if Stefan is still here, but there was someone named Stefan that said hello from Switzerland.
Yes, that's the guy brought me the Swiss Army knife.
Oh, I meant to say hi to him, but you were kind of going on a
Is he
rant,
still here?
so I don't know.
Stefan, if you're still
Stefan,
here.
if you're still here, please say hello.
Funny story
You
with
were
Stefan.
you were going on a rant, so
Funny
I
thing
didn't
about
want
Stefan was
so I didn't want to interrupt
he flew in
you.
from Switzerland to bring me a Swiss Army knife.
I remember.
And
when
I
you
told
worked
the
at Prague,
told the
right?
station, hey, I got a guy flying in from Switzerland, and I'm gonna give him a tour of the station. And so I gave him a tour of the station.
Mm-hmm.
And the GM knew about it, the news director knew about it, everybody knew about it. And them still on the set, he took pictures of himself
I
on the set.
remember that, yeah.
And I had in so much trouble from the news director, even though he knew that was going to happen. And the GM was like, "Why would he do that?" He said he knew it. Excuse me. Ooh.
You didn't even have sparkling
I
water
know.
beforehand.
Too much air. So when I get into a rant, I suck in a lot of air sometimes. Anyway.
Oh, I hope he's still here. Well, anyways, we wanted to say hello. I wanted to acknowledge your comment earlier, but
So
he was on a rant.
I will say this. So Stefan from Switzerland
Yeah.
brought me a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Nice guy. Came
Very
in, flew all
cool.
over it. But we can't leave out one of the most important people who sent us all different types of Kit Kats.
Chris
in
from
Hong
Kong.
He sent us
Yes.
some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
The Kit Kat stuff, even though we don't eat that much candy, it was great. The one I liked the most was
Was it the green tea?
No, the horseradish one.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Horseradish Kit Kat. I don't know where they got that
So
from.
weird.
And today I went and had, with Lynn, we had pho. And pho. And I asked them, can I get extra wonton? I had wonton soup with shrimp. Because I love shrimp. And I asked the guy, can you give me extra wontons and extra shrimp? Simple concept. You add the shrimp, you add the wonton. Well, they can't seem to, this guy cannot seem to, same guy too, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
can't seem to understand what extra means. So he thought that meant I wanted another bowl of soup. So he brought me 2 bowls of soup, of wonton soup.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, okay, whatever.
All right, babe. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Can we wrap?
All right, she's hungry, guys.
Or I can go eat and you can keep it.
No, I'm gonna wrap it up.
Or I can bring my food over here.
No, we can wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it
It's
up.
been like an hour and 30 minutes. So.
It's been an hour and 35 minutes, to
Yes.
be exact. Hey, guys.
All right, so
well, first of all, thank you.
for
thank you
joining us.
Thank you for the 99 cents.
Thank you,
you for
yes.
the 100 and
Thank you.
250.
Yes. Thank you so much, David F. Bomb. Thank you so much.
Why does it sound like he's saying David F. Bomb?
I'm thinking that's what it means.
I love it.
F bomb.
Yee-woo!
Let's make it an even 300. I hope you guys keep doing these. I gotta figure out how we can reclaim the Stanley behaving badly vibe, which was awesome, and go nationwide.
Well, here's the deal with that, and I'm glad you asked that question. Go get your food and I'll answer it.
Jeanette, okay, Jeanette, hope you have a good I don't.
No, let me
an
explain.
infusion.
Let me explain what's going on with the. And thank you again.
Jeanette, praying for you.
I'm praying for you. You go get your food. I'm going to wrap it up by explaining to David what our goals are. In the
Okay,
future.
do I have to come back?
No, just go eat.
Okay,
'Cause we're
bye
done.
guys. I'm a boomer.
And I'm a millennial, but here's quickly, David, and anybody who wants to listen before I go away, kaboom, is that the vibe is still here. We haven't lost the vibe. It's just that we've lost the ability to do this. Just for me to have a security detail is $1,500 a day. That's out the door. That's just so I don't lose the gear that I have. Because then, and also mention that my insurance for per year is about $1,000 a year for insurance. And then the wear and tear on the camera, the car rental, because I can't drive my personal car into areas like that. To try to make sure, so you understand that this is a expensive undertaking. Now, it was covered by a station before, and I respect the fact that they cover me when I needed it, but with security, I had to ask if I could have security, and it could be yes or no, depending on what the story was, and many times it was no. Or when you get there, if it's dangerous, call us and we'll send you a security guard, which took an hour to show up, so then that's an hour out of my time I couldn't do. So the vibe is still there, MrBadley.com. John, you're here now. Thank you. And I have a creative mind. I would love to be able to get this thing funded so we can do this, do it nationally, if not internationally. But the amount of money it takes to do something of this undertaking is in the millions. Unless we have some really big corporate sponsors. And that opens up a whole new can of worms. What I learned is when I was working for TV, if I worked for TV, people would go out of their way to try to get me fired. They would legit try to go out their way to get me fired. And but when I no longer had a TV station backing me, nobody cared what I said anymore because now they had nothing to use against me in ammo. So if I'm going to build this platform, it needs to be to the point where we are sheltered from the people the morons who want to just get us fired because people are trying to get me fired from crime now, and I haven't been there for 4 years. They literally are trying to get me fired from a station I haven't been at. Or they'll tell me that they're a big fan, but they're not a fan anymore, and they're going to report me to crime. Like, crime is my mom or something? Crime is not my mom. They're not my parents. So it's funny how people want to, they're big fans, but they don't know that I left the station 4 years ago. And I mean, even today, people are like, oh my God, I don't see you on TV anymore. Okay, maybe because I'm not. So we created MrBadley.com. We're building more to it. Right now it's just a kind of a placeholder, but you have links to YouTube and all the other channels in there. We're doing a bunch of stuff, trying to work on it, but it's with a low shoestring budget. What do I need to really get this thing going? If I had about $500,000, I could do a lot more, but then it would have to be in such a way where I'm doing it to generate more revenue and not just burning through cash just to burn through cash. And the problem with business is if you burn through cash too fast, no one's going to give you more. So where am I going to get $500,000 from? I have no idea. But I'm building a brand. We just filed for trademark for the Mr. Badley Bitmoji. So, and I'm using all my resources, and I'm borrowing from some money that I put aside to try to get this thing moving. So we are working on it. I just brought on a guy who can do editing for stories once we get him done. But everything requires money, and I'm not going to risk anyone's safety to do a story. If it's unsafe, you're not going to do it. I'm not going to have it on my conscience that I want you to shoot a story and you got robbed because I thought that, oh, don't worry about it, you'll be fine. Nope, not going to have it on my conscience. Love you guys. Be safe. Try to stay off of social media. Don't do too much of it. It'll rot your brain. But we do appreciate it. Thanks. I can keep you Thanks. I can keep you in and out dollars, but no millions here. No worries. Thank you. We're not trying to get millions from you. I'm hoping that by building this brand, that someone, major corporation or someone, will step in and go, hey, I love what you're doing. I would prefer a film corporation or a TV corporation to say, hey, we want to buy this from you and do this nationwide, and we want you to oversee it. Bingo. And then I would do that in a heartbeat. Appreciate it. Love you guys. Share this with your friends. And we've been on here for 1 hour and 40 minutes, but we enjoyed every second of it. Thank you guys for all your help. And again, thank you. And yeah, your mental health is important. And like we said before, I'm a millennial. She's a boomer. And good night.
Wait, did you already hang up?
I hung up.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding.
Oh, bye guys! I mean, why did I say hang up. I meant, did you say bye? Bye!
Ah.